you don't know much about Mindlink yet, we're a really small company. We're located just outside of Portland, Oregon. And we provide basically language access consulting for a lot of different types of clients. So, we provide tools, services, whatever they need to sort of bridge that gap so that they can interact with community members who are not may have limited English proficiency. So that's kind of, we have a lot of our clients are here in the Portland area. We work with clients in Seattle. We work with, we're growing all the time. We've been in business for about 10 years now, but really focused on the language access space in the last 5 or so years. So I'm here, I'm the managing director of Mindlink, and then also Patricia is here. I think she has her camera off right now, but she's probably multitasking because she's got a lot going on right now. There she is. Hi, Patricia. Hi. And so Patricia is here. She's actually based in Texas, and she's our, well, we're a small company, so everyone wears a lot of hats, and she does our interpreting and scheduling, as well as our HR stuff and resource coordination. So you probably already worked with her. If not yet, you will, about onboarding into our system. And, she's a great resource if you have questions or anything about working with Mindlink. So what this particular project is that I'm looking for help is with, this is for a crisis line. And we were contacted out of the blue by this client that they're on the East Coast in like Maryland, I believe. And it's a small rural county in Maryland. And they had been using Language Line as their telephonic interpreting option, and they do a crisis, like a mental health crisis line. And so they've been using Language Line, but it wasn't really going well, and partly because Language Line, the calls would drop a lot, and when the calls dropped, they weren't able to get that interpreter back. The interpreters that they got were sometimes not as prepared for the appointment. And they had a few concerns, and so they were kind of shopping for other options and found us. We've done very limited on-demand interpreting in, as we provide language access services, but this is definitely something we've been interested in increasing. So Boost Lingo is and it's kind of a neat system because they provide, the video and the telephonic interpreting system, but they also connect us to their network. So the idea that a client could call the number, and if no one on our team was available, it would go out to this wider network where someone would be there to help with their call. We have this already set up. It's going pretty well, actually. They make about 8 to 10 calls a week for this crisis hotline. Now, the crisis hotline, it isn't highly medical. Like, we don't require like certified medical interpreters or any expertise, because most of the calls, they actually call it a warm line, because most of the calls are just people who might be in a mental health crisis or might just need to talk to somebody. They might just say, hey, I had a really rough day today. Is there somebody I can talk to? And, so you're just there to facilitate that conversation between them and a crisis support person. So this isn't like, does that make sense? It's not highly specialized. So I think it's actually going to be a nice fit for people who have done, interpreting. I know Anton's done a lot in the school setting, and actually most of our other interpreting is in the school setting. And I think this might be actually a good fit because it's general. It's sort of just like humans that need support, right? And they, like I said, they do about 8 to 10 calls a week where they actually need Spanish interpreters. That's kind of the specific project, but on a general scope, there may be other areas. but and if you may have been hearing in the last year or so in the US, there's been a number called the 988 number that's come out, and it's basically an alternative to 911. So if somebody's having a mental health crisis, they can call this. And so what I've learned is that these calls actually go to these crisis centers. So like this. So like I said, I anticipate this is kind of a pilot program, that this is something throughout the US. There's going to be a need for people that can support these crisis, mental health crisis phone calls. But anyway, so that's kind of the scope of this. Let's talk about, I just want to show you a little bit the system, and then we're going to talk about like next steps on how we're going to proceed, right? So the system that we use, it's specifically called InterpretManager, which is the app that it uses. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'll send this document out, we want to make sure everybody who's on the Mindlink team providing the service is has been checked to make sure that they're ready for these kind of calls. And so what we're going to do is schedule a brief, like 15-minute session, like a Zoom call with everybody, to just like run a couple of tests on your home computer that you're using for your interpreting appointments, just to make sure that you meet the BoostLingo minimum requirements. And part of why this is so important is because of those quality concerns that and certainly when you're having a mental health crisis, it's really rough if you lose your interpreter halfway through. You have to get a new interpreter, and then they don't really know what's going on. So, we want to make sure that everybody has set up with the minimum requirements needed. Probably if your computer is like less than 4 or 5 years old, you're probably fine. But there's some tests that we'll do to make sure that, you're meeting the requirements, and also your network is good. And so it's just going to be a quick, like I said, 10-15-minute session where we're just going to go through a little checklist, and then that's it. So once you've done that and you're confirmed, then, then we'll onboard you for this service, right, in our system. Once you're onboarded.
Sorry, Stacey, I have a question there.
Yes.
Is this like a one-time thing, or every time we have a call for?
This is just a one-time at the beginning, just before we set you up with your own account.
Okay.
We're going to do a quick session.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Yes.
I usually use the BoostLingo on my iPhone. And it works perfectly.
Okay.
I use it for phone and video interpreting. Is it okay to continue using my phone, or are you looking to have like the computer set up? Because I do have a computer as well, but.
Oh, okay. Our preference is probably computer, but I'm okay if the iPhone is working, but the requirement is really if you're using it on a network. What we don't want is you using your iPhone on a mobile network.
Oh, no.
And then we also want to make sure that, you're using it in a, where you have high quality video and background, like you're not using it in your car or.
Yeah. No, I'm always on my office, but
okay.
I just wanted to know.
That's how you have it currently set up. So yeah, we're kind of on the fence with the iPhone, but my main concern is that it's not in a scenario where the call will be dropped. And so I think we have a higher likelihood if you're on your home Wi-Fi network.
Okay, I got you. Because my computer is with the Ethernet cable, so that actually works even better.
Yes.
So yeah, that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah, that would probably be the preferred method is from your computer.
Awesome.
If that's available to you.
Okay.
Okay. And honestly, for this client, I've noticed their calls have been primarily not video, but just audio calls, which kind of takes some of the pressure off, right? And both of you I'm seeing have good, I'm hearing you well, and so I think the video sometime, but we did give them that option. And I think video, I'm hoping, is something that, because sometimes they actually, when they have a crisis call, they'll actually physically go to their house. In that
Oh,
scenario, they may opt to pull in the interpreter on a video,
on a video.
just for that
Yeah.
face-to-face.
Mhm.
I hope they use that feature in Boost but
Yeah.
right now I think because they've been using Language Line, I think it's like their comfort zone is the audio
Oh
phone
yeah.
call,
Mhm.
which takes some of that pressure off of your system too, because the
Totally. Yeah.
video, Anyway, but yes, thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
our preference is to use it on your PC. And my idea is it's the kind of thing like you have maybe a lull between projects. You could just make yourself available on Boostlingo in case a call comes in. I've noticed a lot of these calls come in like either early in the day, like 9-10 o'clock a.m. our time, or later in the day, like after hours, 5 to 7. So but like I said, there's no it's on demand, right? So
Mhm.
and currently it's not even every day that you would get a call with this, but my hope is that the demand will increase, and that it's something that between scheduled appointments, you can just activate your Boostlingo account and just see if a call comes in, you're ready to go, right?
Mhm.
You could work on something else and then the call comes, so
Mhm.
that's sort of how I'm envisioning this, right? Just to kind of walk you through how this works when a call does come through. And I'll show you in a second here, but you'll get something will pop up on your screen that you're getting a call that looks pretty much like this, and then you'll go ahead and answer that. Then you'll get a screen on the top. You'll be able to see some information like who's calling, and a little bit. So far, you're going to know, and I have it set up as a social service. So you'll see this says business. So it kind of gives you a little context. It might say, like, for another client, if it's like a healthcare client, it might say healthcare, so it at least gives you a little bit of info about what the appointment is about. You don't always have all the information like a scheduled appointment would, but at least it gives you a little idea, okay, what you're getting into. Hopefully you have a more professional picture than the but once you're in the call, there's a few features. One thing is they might call and say, could you conference in the person, right? So they'll call you and then you call the person that is needing the interpretation. So this is available on Boostlingo. You have some options to click on. It's actually this button here where you can go and add a third party to the system and just put in the number, and then it conferences them in. And it seems like that's needed quite a bit for this service, which is kind of another reason it's nice to have it on your desktop, so that you can conference in a third party. You also have the option to send a text from the system, which is also if there's audio or some troubleshooting that needs to happen, you have that ability to do that. And so that's kind of the gist of the system. I can show you really quickly. And Patricia and I set this up on my phone, so I can kind of show you how this is going to work. So say I'm here, I'm working on something else. Well, I just called myself and now it's ringing in my ear. So I know I'm getting an interpreting call. So now I can pull up my, and now it's telling me this is the mental health line. I can come here and answer it. Now, if you don't answer it, someone else will from the network, right? So but here you can see this is where I would add a third call and then conference them in. This is the chat feature. And that's it. So it's pretty straightforward. then you're done. So I imagine, when you call, you would introduce, hey, I'm Stacy, I'll be your interpreter today. And you kind of do your own setup. I know some companies might have a person, but just because right now it's so unpredictable, we're asking our interpreters kind of do their own sort of, okay, hi, I'm your interpreter. What, do you need a person dialed in? Do you have them there? Like kind of set that up with the requester. And then once that's set up, you can start the interpreting. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I have one quick question.
Yes.
Sometimes they will ask for some kind of identification number or something like that. Do we have that, or we just have to give them like our full name?
Yeah, I think you do have it. But when you're in the call, let's see how that, let me do the call again. Okay, we're going to answer. So, yeah, they don't provide it here. So if they ask for a number, you have a call ID at the end, but the problem is it doesn't give it to you till the call's over.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for now, just give your full name and
Full
then
name,
they'll
okay.
be able to match it. There is, if you go to this log on your dashboard, you can see call IDs here. And you do have an ID number that we can share with you when we get you set up so that you'll be able to say, okay,
Okay.
this is my ID number.
Yeah.
If they
Okay.
ask. Is that?
Yeah, because I know that not all the time and not all the people will ask for that, but there will be some of them that will ask for it sometimes.
Yeah, because they need to match the call up with their log, basically.
Exactly.
So and so when you do BoostLingo calls for other clients, Liz, you have your number that you provide them. Is that how you do that?
No, actually, we were told currently that we have to give our full name if they ask for it, so they can keep it on the records. Because
Yeah.
right now I'm working for medical interpretation,
Mhm.
for over like on demand as well,
Mhm.
video and phone calls. And usually what they said is that you have to give them like your full name because they already have your company and the only
Right.
thing they need is your full name. So that's the only thing that I actually share.
Okay, so that would be
Mhm.
probably the same in this scenario. You probably
Okay,
have,
cool.
yeah. Okay, so that's but yeah, that's a good question. Okay. So then the next thing is, I mean, that's essentially how the call works. There's also the video option, when the video call comes in, it's the same kind of thing. Here, let's try a video call. Well, I'll have my cat call us. Okay, so now it's clear that it's a video. So yeah, warning, this is a video. And the first time you pull this up, make sure you allow here in your browser. Oh, it doesn't like this. Device can't get. So we got to get all these things worked out before we do a official call. I think it's because I'm in Zoom. But there's my requester. And so then I would provide the call right there. And it's the same kind of thing. You can actually share a link to this call, and it'll allow someone to enter it as a, sorry, I'm like on two things, so I'm gonna hang up. Sorry, whiskers. Okay, so when you can actually share, so if you're in a video call, you can share the link, And then anyone, they don't have to have BoostLingo installed. They can just click on that link and then they'll join as a participant in a conference call, a video conference call. So in this scenario, the video would probably most likely be used when the requester, the provider, is physically with, the patient or the client. And so they're physically with them. And so then they have you on video. So, you have to kind of use in a professional way, can you, the interpreter can't quite see the, subject or something like that. You'll have to kind of, navigate that, but, hopefully you'll be able to do that. This does require a lot of flexibility, doesn't it? So that's essentially how a video call would work. I can't show you exactly because I think it's the conflict with Zoom and the thing, but okay. Okay, so any other questions about that?
No.
Cool. Awesome. So the last thing I want to show you, and I don't know, Liz, if you've used this feature on BoostLingo, is how to invoice for your time. So I've activated the invoice feature. So what you'll do, and I would do it like, that Friday, here's the calls I did for, whatever period of time. I would do a few calls on one, but it's up to you. I don't have a specific, but what you're going to do is run a report here and create the invoice right in the system. And then what I want you to do on this is you'll download this, and we'll have if I know Anton has one, I think Liz not yet, but we'll have an account set up in our system called LinguistLink. And so what you'll do is just like every week, you'll run this report. It'll summarize the calls that you did in that period of time. And then you'll just download this. Yep. And then you'll upload it as an invoice in just like this. So it'll summarize this. We'll have your rate set up once we onboard you. So it'll calculate that for you. So once that's done, you'll go right into LinguistLink. And I'll show you here. There is a place where you can upload that invoice. You just click on invoices. And then this will go to our team where we'll approve it and schedule it for payment. And so you'll just fill out this stuff and you'll attach it, that PDF. And then we'll schedule it for payment. And we do our payments using a system called ProZPay. And ProZPay is once this is approved and submitted, you'll get a notification that it's available. And then we do net 45 days. That works out the best with the payment terms we have with our clients. So we do net 45 days. If you need the payment before that time, that is available to you with ProZPay. There's like a little fee that you have to pay for that. But otherwise, if you can wait the 45 days, you get the full payment amount. And then, that's how that payment works.
So let's say this week I do all of this and I submit this, and then I will have to wait 45 days so I can get my payment.
That's generally how we work. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But like I said, if you need it beforehand, there's availability, but there's a small payment or a small fee you have to be willing to do. Okay.
And Stacy, I haven't done this with Mindlink yet. I guess it's kind of the same, but of course, removing the BoostLingo part.
Yeah.
All of my jobs with Mindlink, I'll do the same, like download it into a PDF and upload it to ProZ.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, you're gonna just upload it, into LinguistLink.
Into LinguistLink.
Yeah. Yep. It's the same for all. That's kind of why this works well for us, because no matter, like today, you could be, I did some on-demand appointments, so I'm going to upload this, and then I also have a couple of scheduled interpreting I did, so I'll upload those as well. You know, so that way kind of you can just have your, okay, I'm doing all my invoices and I'm doing all my billing. Send us everything you did that week. And then, you know, and then we process it all in the same. So your payment could include multiple services that you provide within that time period. Yeah.
Okay. So it's okay, like, to wait until I have like a good amount that is worth the wait.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean, a
and-
lot of our people do that. It does work. I mean, it's ideal depending on the account. Sometimes Patricia will come after you because we need it for our billing.
Yeah.
So for this, in fact, I bill them once a month for everything we did that month. So I'll need to have yours. I would
Okay.
recommend doing it more often just because of the 45 days.
Yeah.
But if, you know, within that month, because then I need to know what was done so I can bill.
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a chance where something shows up here where that didn't really reflect what happened. And so, you know, that's when you can get in touch with me or Patricia and say, hey, you know,
Right.
whatever, so that we can get in touch with the client. There's always kind of that troubleshooting path you have to take. But we're here to help with that.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything else?
Well, so
Not
you're gonna send us this document that you were sharing,
Yes.
and do you recommend like to create an account in Buslingo? At least in my
Yes,
case,
so
and-
the first step is I'll share the account, and now we have Chaco joining us, who is our tech support person for our company. Again, we all wear many hats. But the first step would be to schedule that 15-minute session where we can just kind of go through your session. You know, we'll do a checklist, you know, give you as long as everything works out, then what will happen is Patricia will reach out and get you onboarded into the system. And then she will invite you to create an account. So you'll get an invite email, create the account, and then she'll activate you in the system.
Got it. All right. Good.
Cool. But yeah, I think I'm hoping, you know, like we get enough of this going to kind of supplement, you know, that time between appointments where you're you know, ready to work, but you just didn't have an appointment during that time. So you can mark yourself available and, you know, see what comes through, see if there's anybody we can help.
Sounds good.
Now I want to introduce Chaco, who just joined. Chaco, you want to say hi? Oh, there she is. Thanks for joining.
I am a technical support for the Linguistic.
Yeah, she does. Well, she does actually more than that. She does a lot of the development for LinguistLink, but she's also going to help with, you know, the technical aspect of Boostlingo and, you know, and help with some of those audits. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Nice to meet you, Anton.
Nice to meet you.
Cool. So yeah, so I'll send this document and then we'll get you. I think this is great. I mean, like I said, we're a small company. You're helping us develop the service. Your feedback's going to be really important as we do this, but I think going forward, this is going to be a nice addition to other services that we provide in the language access space for our clients. So
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for your questions. And I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Stacey.
Sure.
Nice meeting you all.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.